Shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel. Lord willing, the elect of Israel. First off, let's give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Ruach Kodash, and double honors to our elders and our apostles at the great millstone. It's been one of those months, man. It's been one of those months. I want to say weeks, or days, but nah, it's one of those months, man. This is your servant, La Karayataza, meaning to call out. And today I got a lesson. I can't say I forgot how it came about. Lord willing, it's through the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Ruach Kodash. But let's get into it, man. For those that think, when did this come out? When I saw it on my phone, it said like 2 days ago. Let me see if I got. Oh man, I guess it don't show it. Well, I'm not seeing it right now. But on my phone, it said it came out 2 days ago. Something to that effect. On my tablet. Let's get into it and see where we can go. I wrote down a couple of precepts, so we'll just see how it goes from here.
Right.
And
So
the
you think
opportunities
they'll use that to blow
And the
everybody up?
opportunities to destroy ourselves are going to be so multiple, because the world is getting so much more complicated all the time,
Yeah.
right? The number of things that can go wrong is much bigger than in the past, right? 5,000 years ago, there was no technology that could have destroyed the planet. Now there is, right?
Right.
And that is going to continue. Our ability to destroy the planet is only going to get greater. It's going to take a smaller mistake to destroy the planet.
You see how genius the Lord works? He controls all things. And it's going to be at an hour where no one actually really knows. Like a thief in the night. Right? Let's go.
As technology gets more sophisticated.
So you feel it's just human nature that if we have control of artificial intelligence, the first thing it's going to do is devise weapons of insane
No.
destruction.
We are going to devise the weapons using artificial intelligence before there is any overarching artificial intelligence that could take care of us. You see what I'm saying?
So you're saying the kind of artificial intelligence that's already available, not like general artificial intelligence, which is what they think of as like a sentient being.
Yeah. I mean, like
Okay, for instance. Hold on, let him finish this.
stuff
Yeah.
that we can do to, like
I
YouTube
see what you're
algorithms
saying.
or
So
whatever.
I don't think we disagree. So you're
Yeah.
saying that this artificial intelligence that's in place right now, that they already use for a lot of things,
Yes.
is going to...
For instance, you have the digital money system, monetary system. Everything has to be put on a card. We do not deal with, or what they're changing or what they're trying to get rid of is dealing with the money system they set up previously, the dollar. Now, before that, you had the gold, the silver. No, they had my mom told me about cashier checks and things of that nature, right? And then, you had, gold and, but since then you got into, credit. Credit is pretty much digital. It's a digital system. It calculates your ability to pay monies to your living establishments, your whatever bills from cell phones to car notes. You know, all these things have been kept on record for years upon years upon years. And these things pretty much is a way of tracking people. You know, if you can see it or not, you know, it's a way of tracking people. You know, they got facial recognition programs coming out. Like I just did a video not too long ago, like a couple of days ago, or probably 4 or 5 days ago, where they were saying in the news, some kind of news conference, that the people that submit their DNA, their blood samples or swab, you know, their DNA samples to these organizations, these corporations out here, that they can use that against that person, you know, when it comes to biological warfare or something even more physical. All right. But yeah, he pretty much hit it right on the head. Let me go back.
Agree. So you're
Yeah.
saying that this artificial intelligence that's in place right now, that they already use for a lot of things,
Yes.
is going to be used and make weapons. It's going to be
We
too
are gonna use
overwhelming.
them.
We're going to use them, and we're going to use them on each other. We're going to blow each other up.
Yes.
And if we don't, artificial general intelligence is what I'm talking about.
Oh, if we don't
Artificial-
destroy ourselves,
I'm
yeah,
talking
I'm just
about-
convinced we are. That's all.
We may. You're right. We've dropped bombs. I mean, whenever anybody talks about anything that anyone's done anywhere in the world, when they talk about horrific things, I always say, dude, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That is,
Okay. Oh, that's a nice point. Let's get it. I'm gonna go to Revelation chapter 13, starting at verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. What we're about to see is how, when America came into power, the Pearl Harbor situation, and how it was bullet upon bullets, you know, little, you know, they had missiles or bombs back then that would blow up specific spots, like army spots. Like at Pearl Harbor, when Pearl Harbor got attacked, that was a military base, to my knowledge, right? And if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But it was like a military place that produces military conveys and weapons. And what they call them, the kamikazes, right? You know, coming from the so-called Japanese, I believe that's Amin. If you read in Psalms 83, it'll let you know Amin and Salakia. Anyway, let's get to Revelations chapter 13. I'm gonna start at verse 9 again. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. But he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. And the sword is a weapon. That's what it boils down to. In these days and times, 9mm Glock, 9mm a bow and arrow, a bomb, a missile. These things are characterized as, or can be better described as a sword, a weapon, when it comes to the scriptures, right? And that's what they're talking about right now, nuclear weapons. Russia using nuclear weapons. The possibility of Russia using nuclear weapons. Verse 10 again. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Captivity. Esau, Edom. Psalms 83. Amalek. The so-called small hats that paid for the ships from the west coast of Africa coming over here to America, leading our people into captivity. You guys are going into captivity. All you nations that had something to do with it. You know, Ham, you know, the Ishmael, and you know who you are. So when I say these names, you like, oh, you know who you are. Right now ain't the time to break it down because I see they got really good caps on these videos that we putting out. So I got to hold back a lot. They've been holding back a lot of my videos, man. The end of verse 10. After the sword, you know, you're gonna be killed with the sword. You know, for all the war you have caused, America. Okay, America, all the war you have caused, you're gonna be destroyed with that same destruction you put out upon all the world. From even here in America, what was that? Philadelphia. They bombed Philadelphia. What was that? Arkansas? Not Arkansas. What was that called? That was they called it the Black Wall Street, right? You gonna pay for that. The end of chapter 10, verse 10, chapter 13, verse 10 in Revelation. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. The Lord said, you keep my patience. If you keep the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of temptation. We know we've been through the captivity. We've been through being destroyed by your sword left and right. This is the time, you know, to keep that faith, that patience, to keep seeking the Lord 10 times more than when we were in the world. Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. That's America. Verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast, which is Rome, before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, which is Rome, whose deadly wound was healed. That's why I always bring up the fact that the presidents of America, at any time, all the presidents in this land, America, have to go to Rome, or they offer the Pope, they give him an invitation or whatever, if that's what you want to call it, because he pretty much set it up. You know, they're the first beast. You know, the system, how they run things, politically, financially, government-wise, community-wise, economically wise. This is how everything is being ran through these beast systems. Okay. Verse 12. And he exercised all the power of the first beast, which is Rome, before him, this is America is talking about, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, which is Rome, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's what this guy's talking about right now. Let me see. I believe I got another clip, but I want to see what else he got to say.
Is insane. Yeah, that was a completely untargeted city, in the sense that, like, there's not like there's an army there and they're shooting at us and we're shooting. No, they just nuked cities. The kind of death and destruction that must have happened on those days, to be a person who's an innocent person living on this regime in this city, and know that the consequences for something that you've done nothing to. All you've done is live your life. All you've done is work in a market. All you've done is do whatever. You've been a farmer, and then your entire world is obliterated instantaneously by an atom bomb for the first time in human history, and it's happened in your fucking city.
Yeah. Well, you know what? In terms of the bombings, Hiroshima and Nagasaki weren't really that big a deal.
In comparison to the firebombing.
In comparison to the firebombings, in comparison to what the Germans were doing in the Soviet Union.
I understand, but there's a thing about the instantaneous nature of those bombs that was uniquely terrifying, which is why we haven't used them since.
Yes, agreed.
Do you have a fear that Putin would use one?
A nuclear.
Before we get into that, let's go to Isaiah chapter 14. I'm starting at verse 16. Isaiah chapter 14, starting at verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Okay? If you read up, no, matter of fact, I'm going to go to verse, I'm going to start. Let me go to verse 10. And they shall speak and say unto thee, Art thou also become weak as us, as we? Art thou become like unto us? No, man, I'm tripping. Oh, yeah, let's go to verse 4 then. This is Isaiah chapter 14, verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, over here in America, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. America. The oppressor. The one that brought all the children of Israel over here to this side of the world. You know, set them up, you know, through France, through the French, the British, and the Spaniards. You know, y'all brought us over here. That's why we speak y'all languages, or a broken form of y'all languages. Right? Verse 4 again. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How have the oppressor ceased? How have y'all come down to this point where y'all are confused, teaming? You don't know what's going on anymore. You came out with the Bobit 19 thing, you know, had everybody tripping on going out, and they had to put stuff over their faces to block whatever, you know, and you know, you sit in restaurants, you gotta have your mouth gotta be open so you can eat. You know, it was just people started waking up, all right? You know, your ignorance didn't play as it didn't go like y'all wanted it to go, all right? Verse 5. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. Amen. You know, America, Esau, Edom, this plan that y'all got going on, it ain't gonna be as much. So let me get back to that. Where we at? 16. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? All right. Yeah, this is the man. Let's see if I get I got another video I want to go off that point with. If I can bring it up. Yes. A depiction of what happened. I messed it up. There we go.
I was wiping the desktop. That was when the bomb was dropped.
It took about 45 seconds from the time the bomb left the airplane until it exploded. And I think there wasn't a man in the airplane that wasn't either timing it with his watch or counting or doing something. I was sure the bomb was a dud. I was sure it wasn't going to work.
After falling for 43 seconds, the time and barometric triggers started the firing mechanism. A uranium bullet fired down a barrel into a uranium target. Together, they started a nuclear chain reaction. Solid matter began to come apart, releasing untold quantities of energy.
You see it? You see it? You see it? All right. Let me get Second Ezra, chapter 16. Let's do that. Let's get Second Ezra, chapter 16, starting at verse 13. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 11. That'd be perfect. The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? All right? You're gonna fear the Lord. One way or the other, you're gonna learn to fear the Lord. You know. Verse 12. The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also. Before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. Verse 13. For strong is his right hand, that's Yahweh Shai, that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. They will begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, verse 14, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. I think I went a little too forward, but this is good. They're gonna speak into what was just. They're gonna bring up what was just spoken on.
Their weapon?
Yes.
So when I was on Question Time, that program on Francis, they asked me this question, and they said, if pushed, would he use them? Now, my understanding of the word pushed is if he feels that his life is in danger, but the signal might not get to the destination.
Hold on. Okay.
But the signal might not get to the destination.
That's pretty good.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
There is a team of, it's not just a button that releases nuclear weapons, there's a bunch of people in between.
Right.
Right? And if some of those people think that they have a chance of survival, that this is a personal thing against the leader, what is their rationale for pressing that button down the line?
How terrifying is
Because
that?
the answer is
It's up to
death.
a few people.
But the answer is death, right? If you're in
Yeah.
that situation, your family, your kids is going to burn to ashes or die in a radioactive wasteland.
Yes.
So why would you push that button if you felt there was any chance of survival at all?
That is one of the biggest fucking sources of anxiety for people, is the idea that we're living in this conflict that we have zero control over that might lead to a global thermonuclear war at any moment in time.
Once again, let me read that. Second Ezra, chapter 16. And I'm going to just start at the point. I'm sorry, verse 11. The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence. Like you just seen in that clip about the Hiroshima, how, beating the powder. Just simple as that. Dude sitting on the steps and now he's dissolved. Just like in the movie War of the Worlds, with Tom Cruise, right? Verse 12. The earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. That's a bomb, man. Nuclear missiles. The sea arises up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled from the missiles. This is what Ezra saw, man, back then. And the fishes thereof also, before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. Verse 13, for strong is the right hand for strong is his right hand, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. And that's what's going to happen, It's inevitable. This is a prophecy from Ezra. I want to get down to this. I don't even know if I got enough time. But let's go. I want to finish hearing what they got to say. Where we at? I'm about to cut this off soon, man. I'm already at 26 minutes. Yeah.
The wrong buttons might get pressed, and the wrong people might get mad, and the wrong military decisions might get made, and someone just tries to fucking do something wild. And we didn't really think that was a possibility until this Ukraine invasion.
Yeah.
I think the Ukraine invasion opened up a lot of people's eyes, because there's so many people from Ukraine that have relatives in Russia and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's not like you might be at war with your own people, like people that you are literally related to.
Yeah.
That's what's.
Yes. Also in Ezra is stated that neighbor will fight against neighbor like they were enemies, as if they were enemies, roughly paraphrasing. Yes, this is the time that we are most definitely coming into. I should probably take you off. Matter of fact, let me get to this point. I want to get here. I believe it's like right up in here. Play.
Sabotage the Western efforts to stop them. I think that's their plan. How that goes, how do we know? We can't predict that. And in the meantime, it also depends on what's happening on the ground, right? It depends on what Russia is going to do. It depends on what the Western powers do in terms of providing weapons and ammunition and all of that. So we've got no idea at all.
It's so wild. And when you hear the government bragging about how much money they're sending over to Ukraine to help fight the Russians, it's like, you should shut the fuck up about that. Maybe that one you might want to keep under your hat.
Yeah, oh, you mean in terms of talking about it publicly?
I mean, I'm joking, but I'm saying, like, the idea that we're essentially paying for this war. So are we at war? Or like, what point in time do you become at war with Russia?
You're not paying for this war. You're supporting a country that's defending itself.
I agree, but I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. What I'm saying
I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying I don't have an opinion about it. It's for American taxpayers to decide that, right?
It's not American soldiers, but it is American money, right? So you're funding the war. And again, I'm not saying I'm against this.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, at what point would someone who knows we're funding that consider us at war with them?
They already consider us at war with them.
But I mean, enough that an attack would be warranted. Like that someone would do something. If the United States is so vulnerable, I mean, if someone just attacked our power grids, there's a lot of vulnerability in the United States, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If they just did that and shut the power down for 6 months, I mean, how effective would we be at almost anything? Like, the whole world is vulnerable at this point in time with nuclear weapons, but we're all particularly vulnerable. And if there's some sort of a negate,
that's what they're going to believe.
How do you think this plays out?
I think anyone who attempts to predict this is bullshitting, man. No, you can't predict things like this. Right now, the situation is Russia is inching forward. Both sides are losing a lot. I think what the Russian strategy is to to wait until winter. That's what I'm being told. To hold out until winter, and by winter they think they can persuade the Germans to essentially sabotage the Western efforts to stop them. I think.
Perfect. That's what I was looking for. I'm going to Matthew, because what's one of the main times of the year? When did the Bobet Pintine come out? You know, it was like during the wintertime. You know, they threw it on everybody. And everybody can't go outside, and you know, all these things that they had going on. You know, that's one of the best times. People don't want to go outside. People don't want to do nothing. That's the best time to lock down the world, is in the wintertime. You know, to get to catch people totally off guard. And the ones that's not prepared, especially citizens, you know, and you know, around the world. So yeah, why not? That would be a good time to do that. With that, I want to go to Matthew chapter 24, starting at verse. I'm gonna go to 20, just to the point. This is the Lord speaking. It's in red. This is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, our Savior, Lord and Savior Yahushua, speaking. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time